Hey guys, what's up? I want to talk to you guys today about picking a battle rifle for an SHTF situation or a RWOL without law situation. Situations similar to Katrina. I'm not talking about a zombie apocalypse. If you believe in that, then okay, then that's what it's for as well. But I'm thinking like when you don't have cops around to protect you and you're looking for a gun before that happens. So that's what this video is supposed to help you do. So to begin with, I'll name off the rifles we have here. We have this is an L1A1 sporter, which would be representing the FAL, AR-15 variant, obviously, AK-47 variant, and an SKS. Now, each of these are going to represent a different caliber, as well as the gun a little bit, but more it's a different representation of the caliber. So this is representing 7.62 by 51 NATO. This will represent 5.56 by 45 NATO, or 223 Remington. This is an AK-47, but this is going to represent the AK-74. So this is going to represent 5.45 by 39. So keep that in mind when I talk about this. And this is going to represent 7.62 by 39. 7.62 Soviet. So, first thing we need to talk about is cost of ammunition. That's going to be the first thing you're thinking about, is how much is it going to cost me to purchase ammo for my rifle, or for a rifle I'm thinking about. So I will also award points as I go on through the categories with bullets, as you know, each one will get a bullet, or one gun will get a bullet and another one won't. So that's how I'm going to award points to each of them, and then we'll get to the final conclusion. So for 7.62 NATO, you're looking at about 35 cents a round. And those are 150 grain bullets. For 223 5.56, you're looking at, well, it depends. If you're looking at steel case, it's going to be closer to a quarter a round, all the way up to 35, even 40 cents a round if it's brass. 37 cents, I believe, and that's Lake City stuff. 55, 62 grain bullets. More commonly, you'll probably find a 62. 55 in steel case. Then for 5.45, you're looking at about 14 cents a round. And these prices are roughly shipped prices, you know, to your house, but you got to assume that you can get them at your store. And then for the 39, 7.62 39, you're looking at just under a quarter a round, closer to 21, 22 cents a round, maybe 23 cents a round. And that's steel case, even brass surplus ammo. So the first thing you should also think about when you're looking at ammo is pick an ammo, or pick a caliber that has surplus ammo for it. So you're going to look for guns that are older and that there's a lot of ammo for. So for these two guns up here, you're going to find surplus ammo from the 70s and 80s easily. The Yugo surplus ammo you can easily find for this gun as well as this one, from the 80s for this one. And that's going to be lacquer coated. So this for the AKs and the AK variants, you're not going to have a problem with lacquer coated ammo, whereas other guns you would, so you don't have to worry about that. But that's the ammo that you'll find a lot, and that's going to be much cheaper than your new brass ammo or even the new steel cased ammo. So in that category, the price has to go to, it definitely has to go to the 5.45. And the 5.45 gets 2 marks for that because it's really cheap. Really, really cheap ammo. And so that's why it's going to get 2 points. And the 39 is going to get a point. And the 223, if you're buying steel case, you can get a point for it. For the 7.62 NATO, you're not going to get, you're not going to be able to get as much. So I won't award anything for the 7.62 NATO category. Now, the next thing you're going to look at is the cost of the rifles. And if you're looking at an FAL, these are going to be new costs, not used rifles, because used rifles you can find all over the spectrum. But in new production, a variant of this rifle you'll find for about 800 bucks. For the ARs, you're going to find them for 700 to 800, but most people are going to say that a decent rifle will run you 1,000 bucks. And decent, it depends on whatever you whatever you define as decent. Okay, so it's still about 800 bucks or so. For the 5.45 or the AK-74, you're looking at $400 at the cheapest, and that comes with a bunch of mags too. I think 4 magazines. The rest of these, most of them, they don't even come with a single mag. the first two up here. For the SKS, you're looking at also about $400. So in cost of rifle, your initial purchase, the cost effectiveness has to go to the AK-74 and the SKS. Also, the AK-74 also represents the AK-47 because the AK-47 is also in the same price range as well. So the first two get the marks, and these are just a little too expensive to begin with. If you're looking for a brand new rifle, you're going to start with, you have no other guns, and you're starting from scratch. So the next category we move on to are magazines. And because you have to have magazines for your rifle, one magazine won't do it, more likely. SKS, as you can tell, is a 10-round box magazine. Maybe in your state it could be legal to have detachable magazines, but in California you cannot, not even if it's 5 or 10 rounds. So that I'll show you a separate thing, and I'll show you how that works. Now for these first two rifles, or actually let's just start with the FAL. Your magazines are going to run you about $20 to $20 to $25, or $15 is the cheapest actually for the Korean manufactured ones. 25 would be like a DSA made magazine that's brand new, produced within a couple of years. So you're looking at about $15 to $25. More likely you'll be spending $20 per magazine because you really don't want to get cheap, shitty magazines for your gun. They got to work, they got to function flawlessly. For your ARs, you can get them for easily $20 for aluminum or steel. A lot of people like the polymer plastic P-mags. Those are going to run you a little bit more, or I think they're just around the 20 to 25 category, so it's almost in the same price range. Now your AK mags are going to run you less than $20, closer to $15, $16, $17 in that area. The Korean cheap ones are probably like $10. They're really cheap, but you're mainly going to spend around $14, $15 per magazine, and so which isn't too bad. Oh, and also I got to point out that this is a 20-round magazine, and these two will take 30-round magazines. Common, you can find 30 rounds for this, and you can find 40s for these. But commonly, you're going to find 30s here and 20-round magazines here. Now, for the SKS, it's a little different because you can take stripper clips and slam these right in at through the top of the gun. So stripper clips are, I think, a little bit more beneficiary. And I'll show you how you can carry stripper clips on you like you could with magazines. So these stripper clips actually fit in this category right here, or in this category, in this pouch right here, in this pouch. And so here you have two stripper clips here in the single pouch, and that's all it can hold. And there's 10 pouches, so this can hold 200 rounds. All right. And this thing will run you about $10, and you just put it over your shoulder like you would like a jacket, and it's kind of like wearing suspenders, and it makes like a little cross on your back just like this right here. Okay, and just throw it over your shoulder, and you got 200 rounds on you, and you can pull one of these stripper clips out and slam it through the top. So that's how you would reload your SKS. So to award points in the magazine category, I would have to say that the SKS gets the most marks because you can carry more of these on you than you can of regular magazines. So it's going to get 2 bullets. The AKs will get a single bullet because they are cheaper, and now the ARs and FNs, they're gonna be more expensive, and even if it's an AR-10, they're really expensive as well. Now, to also talk about like how many magazines you can carry on your person. Some people bought, like I've seen people on YouTube buy 100 magazines and they go, look at my collection, I got 100 mags, how many do you got, whatever. 100 mags is really unrealistic. You're not going to be carrying all those with you, even if you're going on an outing to scavenge or, just browse around your neighborhood if, in that scenario. So you're going to probably carry 6, and I say 6 because those pouches, those tactical pouches, they have 3 pouches and 2 mags per pouch, so that's going to be 6 mags. So you're looking at least $100, $100 to $120 here for your magazines, whereas here it's going to be closer to $70, 70, I think, or $80. And then here, these stripper clips here, just the stripper clips alone cost, for 100 of these, which is 1,000 rounds, it costs you about $30, $35. That's really cheap. That's like buying 2 mags almost, and you got 100 of these clips. That's 1,000 rounds you can put on your stripper clips, right? And you can carry 200 on you at one time, so that's quite a bit. So that's why I gave the upper hand to the SKS versus all the magazine-fed rifles. And also, you don't have to worry about dropping these and they get stepped on or losing them. These here, they're pretty thin and small. You can carry a shotgun pouch on your hip, and you can throw the strip clips in them when you're done using them. Now, the next category would have to be reliability. And reliability, I don't really want to talk about, because these guns are built to perform and built to function. So it's not like any one of these guns is going to fall apart after a couple hundred rounds, even 1,000, 2,000 rounds. And if you're going to tell me that you can run your AK with 2,000 rounds have no malfunctions, I can easily tell you that the AR can do that. But I'm going to ask you is why? Why would you do that? Because it doesn't make sense. You should be cleaning your weapon regularly regardless. So, saying that, all these rifles are functioning very reliably, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. So in that category, every rifle gets a point for that, because they're all going to function fine. Now, accuracy-wise, again, they're all going to be just as accurate. If you got an AK with a pretty crappy barrel, then yeah, you might have some accuracy issues, but for the most part, most people don't. Like this rifle here, we didn't have any accuracy issues. Of course, this is an American-made U.S. barrel. So if anything, I suggest you get your barrel replaced with a U.S.-made barrel, because it's going to be more accurate and better quality. This SKS right here is very accurate, it being a Chinese model, and then these two are very accurate rifles as well. So that's not a big issue as well. So again, in that accuracy category, you're getting a point for every rifle, because they're very accurate rifles. And realistically, your engagement ranges are going to be within 200 yards, because if you're living in a city environment, an urban environment, 200 yards is quite a long distance. That's like down the block. And you'll be engaging targets within that distance. And it's not like you're in a war zone. And it's going to be like defending yourself, not attacking. So you have to really understand that. A lot of people portray the scenario as being attacking, or you're getting invaded by Russia or something like that, which doesn't make sense. But well, it could happen. I don't know. But for the most part, you're probably going to be defending yourself or your neighborhood. Now, some people go like, oh, I need my AR because I can shoot someone between the eyes or between the toes or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can get the job done with an SKS or an AK or this, even though this is sloppy accurate at past 200 yards. It doesn't matter, because you're going to be engaging targets realistically at 50 yards, within 50 yards even. So now we talk about the effectiveness of the round. The 7.62 by 51 is a 150 grain bullet, like I said before. It hits hard, and it hits hard because it travels at fast speeds. The physics equation is 1/2 mv squared, which is mass times velocity. So that's you multiply the weight times the speed, and you can take 1/2 of that and square it. And that's how you get the kinetic energy. And so the 51 has the most kinetic energy. 223 pretty much has nothing. Not nothing, but it doesn't have as much. The 545 is also in the same category. It doesn't have as much. So also the 39. This is an intermediate 30 cal, so you got decent speed at 2,300 feet per second, but 124 grain bullet. So 124 versus 150 versus 55, 60 grain bullets, So these are half the weights of this. So I'd have to give the upper hand definitely to the FNFAL. It's going to hit much harder than all these rifles here. So I'm going to give it 2 points here, and the 39 gets a point as well. These two, they don't. Now, the next thing I will talk about is what?
You're going to talk about the tumbling effect of the...
Not the tumbling. I don't know. That's going to be a different one.
Scavengeability.
Okay. Is the ability of being able to use your rifle as a bartering tool in a situation. Now, of these rifles, the most common caliber you're probably going to find, I would have to go say, is the .223. So this category would probably be the scavenging category or the trading category, kind of, because in a WROL rule, sorry, ROWL, rule without law situation, money is probably not going to be such a big currency, whereas weapons will be. So weapons and ammunition are what your money is going to be. Your currency is going to be that. So with that being said, a lot of people, as you can tell just on YouTube and maybe friends you have, everybody has a .223 rifle for the most part. So you're going to be able to trade and barter with .223 rounds. You shouldn't trade your rifle unless it's a situation where you have to. But ammunition could become the new kind of currency, and you could, if you have a lot of ammo, or if you know someone else has ammo and you have food, you can make a trade with that. You're probably not going to be able to make a trade with 5.45 because it's a little more uncommon. You can't buy it at the store. Same thing with 39. You can buy it at the store, but it's not that plentiful as .223 is. And then NATO, 7.62 NATO, you'll definitely find at stores, but because it's expensive, most people probably won't stock up on it. So for that, in that category, you'd have to drop the other three and just give that to the AR, because that's going to get the 223 is just going to be flowing like crazy. But then the next in line would have to be the 39. So you can probably get more people with 39 than you would get with 5.45. Sorry, 7.62 by 39 versus 5.45. So now we've come to the end of our the categories for the rifles, and we can tally up the scores for each one. Here we have 4 for the FNFAL, or the FAL, for the 7.62 NATO category. For 223.556, we have 5 points. For the 5.45, we have 6 points. And for the 7.62 by 39, we have 8 points. So hands down, I'd have to say, and this is my opinion again, I'd have to say the 7.62 by 39 is the best overall caliber choice for a situation of shit hits the fan or a rule without law. So now let's get on and talk about the 7.62 by 39, actually specifically the SKS. And I say SKS, not the AK-47, because of the magazine issue, whereas you can run stripper clips through here. So because of that, because of the magazine and the stripper clips, I'd have to give the upper hand overall over all these rifles, even over the AK-47, to the SKS. And the sole reason is because of the stripper clip deal. You can carry more rounds on you, and you can easily put these rounds into your gun very fast, very effectively. Magazines are good, but let's say you do need more than 6 magazines, or you forget to load up that night before. You got stripper clips on you more than you do have magazines. But an argument can be made that you can use one of these right here, which is a stripper clip magazine loading tool. And what you do is you just place this on your magazine, and you put your stripper clip in here like this, as so, and you push down from right here, push down, and you can load your magazines. But that takes a little bit more time than it would be to feed it directly into your gun. Okay? So the SKS, I'd have to say, is the best bet. For 400 bucks, you can really get a very good rifle, Yugoslavian-made rifle. Even a Chinese one is not bad. This is a Chinese one. This one works just great, just as great as any other SKS. So we'll talk about also something I had to bring up is, the cost between the ownership of this rifle versus this one. So you're looking at about 800 bucks to begin with on this rifle. We're automatically going to rule this out because this is the next contender. So $800 here. Now what can you do with $800 in this category? This is $800 with just the gun and no magazines. Here for $800, you get the gun for $400, so you have $400 left, and you can get 2,000 to 2,400 rounds for 400 bucks. Actually, it'll be closer to 2,000 for $400. And then you can throw this in for 10 bucks. And then sometimes if you buy your ammo, if it's already surplus ammo, it already comes on stripper clips. Okay, if not, you can throw in another $30 and you can get stripper clips and stripper clip your ammo for yourself. So for $800, $840, you can get a rifle with ammo, with stripper clips, like magazines, but not really, and you'll be ready to rock. Here for $800, you're just scratching the surface. You still got to spend another $100, $120 on magazines, and $300, $400 on ammunition to get 2,000 or 1,000 rounds or so, which I don't think 1,000 would be enough. I'd have to say closer to 2,000 would be. Maybe even 3,000 or 4,000, because if you want to use it as currency to trade for food or whatnot. So that's my take on a battle rifle, ideal for a situation of an SHTF situation or a rule without law situation. And that's my 2 cents. If you guys have any comments or anything like that, please leave them below. If you disagree or whatnot, just put it down there, keep it civilized, and I'll be talking to you guys next time.